Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, you sent over this fascinating stack of sources all about the car rental scene in Maui. Lots of volatility.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
And we've dug right into the latest data. This is from October 27th, 2025, so really fresh.
Hot off the press.
And look, if you're even thinking about a trip to Maui, you really need to pay attention here. The market's made some, well, dramatic moves.
Absolutely. Big discounts, but also one really strange price spike we need to unpack.
So what's our mission today with this data?
Right. So basically, we're looking at the aftermath of the recent holiday, Columbus Day. Prices shot up, as expected.
All right.
But since then, since around the 20th, they've really come down fast. A big correction. We need to figure out what that means for you planning a trip.
Okay, let's start with the good stuff then, because honestly, for the first time in what feels like ages, we can actually say prices are back in a, well, relatively affordable range.
Yeah, that's the headline, really.
And we found one rate that just jumped out. An off-airport economy car, get this, $175 for the whole week.
That's insane. It works out to just $25 a day. Taxes, fees, everything included.
25 bucks a day in Maui. I mean, that feels like a throwback price.
It really does, and it tells you a lot about the current oversupply situation there. They've got cars sitting around.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? You mentioned volatility.
Exactly. So while today's deals look great, especially that $25 one, we have to look ahead a bit.
Okay.
Our look at the advanced reservation systems, booking for the future, it's flashing some warning signs. Potential for some serious price volatility coming up in the next month or so.
So the holiday peak might be over, but the ride isn't necessarily smooth yet.
That's a good way to put it. Things are still pretty unstable, pricing-wise.
Okay, let's dig into that recent drop first. Comparing last week, October 20th, to now. You said the drops were big.
Oh, astounding, really. Not just shaving off a few percent. This was like a market capitulation for some types of vehicles.
Wow.
It's the clearest signal you could get that the holiday demand just vanished, fell off a cliff. So the rental companies had to slash rates.
Give us some numbers, for the basic cars.
Right. So the cheapest economy car, down 41% just week over week. You can get it for $224 for the week now from Payless.
41% in a week. Okay, what about midsize?
Midsize also plunged, down 36%. Hertz has them at $277. So big drops there, too.
And the fun stuff, the Jeeps. People love renting Jeeps in Maui.
Yeah, those dropped significantly, too. Jeeps fell 53% week over week, down to $380 a week from budget. Huge drop.
53%. Okay, that's definitely catching my attention. Was that the biggest fall?
Almost. The biggest percentage drop was actually in the family haulers, the 7-seat SUVs.
Really? How much?
Get this, down a massive 68% compared to last week. Just $359 a week from Thrifty.
68%. That's almost giving them away compared to peak prices.
Pretty much. When you see a big, expensive vehicle like that drop by 2/3 in value in just 7 days, you know there's some serious pressure to move inventory.
Okay, so it sounds like, across the board, things are getting back to normal, maybe even cheap.
Mostly, yes.
But I noticed something really weird in the data you sent. One category just didn't play along.
Yes. The convertible.
The convertible, the classic Maui car, right? Driving the Hana Highway. What is going on there?
It's this week's big mystery, honestly.
Okay.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
While Jeeps were dropping 53%, convertibles actually climbed. They went up 30%.
Up 30% while everything else is crashing.
Yep. To $965 a week through Sixt. It makes absolutely no sense in the context of the rest of the market falling so hard.
Okay, why? I mean, do we have any theories? Because we've talked before about how there are tons of convertibles just sitting in storage yards over there. It's not like they ran out.
Exactly. Supply isn't the issue. So if the cars are there, maybe two things could be happening. One, it might just be one company, like Sixt in this case, doing some aggressive testing with their pricing algorithms, seeing how high they can push it before Thanksgiving, maybe.
Pushing the limit, huh?
Kind of. Or, second possibility, and this is important for travelers, maybe this spike is just a really short-term, isolated blip.
How would we know if it's temporary?
Well, this is where the advanced reservation data helps again. Looking ahead, the systems are actually predicting a huge drop for convertible prices in early to mid-November.
Okay, so the computer systems expect this high price to collapse soon.
Seems like it. So the advice is pretty clear, isn't it? If you want a convertible, maybe just wait a couple weeks to book it.
Right. Don't pay that $965 if it might be, say, $600 in 2 weeks.
Precisely. You could save hundreds just by waiting a bit.
Okay, this is where it gets like really interesting for me. Comparing to last week is one thing, but how do these prices, even the lower ones, stack up historically, like against the average price over the whole last year, the 52-week median?
Yeah, that context is absolutely key to understanding if you're really getting a deal or just paying less than last week's crazy peak.
Right.
And the story here is completely flipped from last week. Last week, prices were mostly higher than the median. This week, almost everything is at a substantial discount to that 52-week median.
So it confirms we're in a buyer's market right now.
Definitely a strong buyer's market.
Okay, let's make that real. Give us some examples. That Jeep price, $380. How does that compare to its median?
Okay, so the Jeep at $380, that's 29% below its 52-week median price of $539.
29% discount versus the average.
Nice. And the 7-seat SUVs, the ones that dropped 68% this week, they're now at $359. That is a whopping 42% below their median price of $660.
Wow, 42% cheaper than the yearly average. If you need a big vehicle, now seems like the time.
It really does. You're looking at potentially historic value there.
I'm guessing the convertible story is different here, too. That 30% weekly increase must put it way above the median.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, that spike means convertibles are now priced 53% higher than their 52-week median. $965 now versus $631 on a median.
Ouch. 53% premier.
It just reinforces that convertibles are playing by their own rules right now. Weird rules.
Okay, let's shift the comparison again. What about looking back one full year? October 2025 prices versus October 2024.
Okay. The good news generally holds here, too. Most categories are cheaper than they were a year ago.
How much cheaper?
The savings range from about 4% lower for midsize cars up to 23% lower for standard SUVs. So decent savings year over year for most people.
But you said most. There are exceptions again.
Yep, still our two problem children distorting the picture.
Let me guess. Exception number one, the convertible.
You got it. It's the outlier in absolutely every comparison. Convertibles right now cost, well, a staggering 160% more than they did just 1 year ago.
Whoa, wait. 160%.
Yeah, think about it. $965 this October versus only $371 all last October.
That's not just inflation. That's a completely different pricing universe for that one car type.
Exactly. It's a fundamental shift for that specific vehicle as we head towards peak season.
Okay, 160% hike is just brutal. What's the second exception? Which other category is more expensive than last year?
That would be minivans. They're
Yep.
a bit higher, up 16% compared to last October.
16%, less dramatic, but still higher. Why minivans?
Well, we think this might be a hangover effect, from that big minivan shortage and the recalls they had over the summer.
Ah, right. That messed up supply chains.
Exactly. So the rental companies might still be trying to sort out their fleets, stabilize pricing, maybe recover some costs on those specific vehicles. It's lingering.
Okay, so we understand the prices now, the drops, the weird spikes, the historical context. Let's pivot to practical advice. Booking strategy. When should people book? And where? Airport versus off-airport.
Right. Actionable intelligence time. Let's start with when to book.
The old advice was always book way early, right?
Yeah.
Months in advance.
Yeah, that was the conventional wisdom. But as you know, for Maui, that hasn't really been true for most of this year, since about mid-February 2025, actually.
What was the trend then?
The trend, except during the big holidays, was that waiting was better. Booking last minute, like 1 day or 1 week out, consistently got you lower prices than booking 5 weeks ahead.
Classic sign of oversupply, you said?
Exactly. Too many cars, not enough renters, so they drop prices the last minute to fill them.
Is that still the case now after this big post-holiday price drop?
Well, yes and no. The trend is shifting slightly. This week, that gap between booking way ahead and booking last minute, it's pretty much closed, vanished.
What does that tell us?
It confirms the holiday demand pressure is totally gone. The market's kind of found a temporary balance point. Still points towards oversupply, but maybe not desperate oversupply right now.
So booking super last minute doesn't give you a huge edge this specific week.
Not really. Interestingly, if you were renting starting tomorrow, October 27th, looking back, the price barely changed over the previous 5 weeks. Booking early or late made almost no difference for that specific start date.
Okay, but looking further ahead into November,
Yeah.
you mentioned a roller coaster forecast. That sounds ominous. What's that about?
Yeah, this is maybe the most surprising finding for the near future. The online systems, when you check prices for, say, the first week of November, then the second, then the third, they're showing prices bouncing around like crazy.
I'm seeing how.
Like they might shoot up one week, then plummet the next week, then maybe go up again before Thanksgiving. A real roller coaster pattern.
But wasn't November usually pretty stable price-wise before the Christmas rush, based on historical data?
Exactly. Historically, looking at data from like 2013 to 2018, prices would rise in early October and then stay pretty flat, maybe slightly increasing, right through November and early December. No weekly whipsaws like this.
So what's causing this now? Is it just the algorithms fighting each other? Price wars week by week?
It really suggests the pricing models are way more aggressive now, more reactive. They might be constantly trying to find the absolute peak price the market will tolerate.
And when they push too high and nobody bites?
They slash the price dramatically the next week to grab volume before trying again. It makes planning harder.
So for travelers, it means you almost have to watch prices week by week, ready to jump on a dip.
That seems to be the new game, unfortunately. Constant monitoring might be needed to catch those downswings.
Okay, let's talk location. Airport versus off-airport. That's Kahui Airport, OGG, versus the smaller places nearby. Usually airport is pricier, right? Taxes, fees.
That's the standard thinking, yeah. Convenience premium and all that.
But we know specialty vehicles often break that rule.
They absolutely do. Our data consistently shows this. For things like Jeeps, convertibles, those 7-seat SUVs, the cars people often specifically want for Maui, you usually find lower prices renting right at the airport. At OGG,
Why is that?
it's mostly about inventory. The smaller off-airport lots just don't stock many of those specialty high-demand vehicles. Limited supply off-airport means higher prices, or often no availability at all.
Okay, so Jeeps, big SUVs, convertibles, check OGG first. What about the regular cars? Economy, midsize, minivans. Is off-airport still the winner there?
Oh, absolutely. The data this week strongly backs that up. Economy, midsize, standard SUVs, and minivans are all cheaper if you rent them off airport.
And the savings can be significant.
Sometimes huge. Look at minivans again with that lingering supply issue this week. A massive 44% cheaper if you booked it off airport compared to OGG.
44% savings just by taking a shuttle. Wow.
Yeah, and what's more, the level of savings we're seeing right now for midsize SUVs and minivans off airport is actually bigger than the typical discount we'd expect based on the 52-week data.
Meaning?
It's the strongest possible sign of a massive local oversupply of these standard cars at the off-airport locations right now. They're really trying to move that metal.
That's incredibly useful info. But there's a catch, isn't there? Availability. If I want that 44% off airport minivan deal.
I need to make sure they actually have one. That's the crucial point.
Right.
While off-airport is the place for deals on standard cars, this week, the data shows zero availability off-airport for convertibles and 7-seat SUVs. None at all.
So if you need one of those, you basically have to book at the airport, OGG, regardless of price comparison.
Correct. That's your only reliable option for those types this week.
Okay, let's zoom out for the final perspective.
Yeah.
How does Maui fit into the bigger Hawaiian picture right now? Is it still the pricey island for car rentals?
We did a quick check of the other major airports, Honolulu, Kona, Lihue,
Yeah.
using the same October 27th data.
And what did that show?
It showed the price drop wasn't just Maui, it was statewide. All the major airports saw prices come down significantly from last week.
Anyone drop more than Maui?
Actually, yeah. Kona, on the Big Island, had the biggest week-over-week drop, down 49%.
So did that huge drop in Kona mean it finally became cheaper than Maui? Did Maui lose its crown?
Nope. Even with Kona's big drop, Maui still holds the title for the cheapest Hawaiian island overall to rent a car.
Still the cheapest. Wow.
Yeah, and that's been pretty consistent. Looking back, Maui has been the cheapest spot for 23 out of the last 29 weeks we've been tracking this.
So even with all this wild volatility and that crazy convertible price, Maui, on average, remains the best value in Hawaii for rentals.
That's what the current data says, yes.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Key takeaways for you, the listener, trying to navigate this. First, right now you're seeing really deep discounts on most cars compared to the average annual price, especially good deals on Jeeps and those big 7-seat SUVs.
Huge discounts versus the median, yeah.
Yeah.
But, second point, watch out for convertibles. That price spike is real, 160% higher than last year. It's nuts. Delay booking if you can.
Definitely. And third, location strategy is crucial. Book those specialty vehicles, Jeeps, convertibles, 7-seaters at the airport, OGG. But for your standard economy, mid-size SUVs, minivans, Go off airport for potentially massive savings if they have availability.
Check availability first, absolutely. And that brings us to the final thought, the provocative question for you to chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've seen historical price stability in the fall get thrown out the window. This forecast of a roller coaster, prices jumping up and down week by week leading up to Thanksgiving, is completely new.
Right.
So the question is this just a temporary glitch, a weird market reaction after the holiday? Or is this the new normal? Is this wild, unpredictable, algorithm-driven volatility what travelers now have to expect and adapt to every year? What does this roller coaster really mean for planning your trip?
Something to definitely think about as you're watching those price trackers. Thanks for diving deep with us today.